So I just got off a conversation with a client, and after we were done, he says, "You should do a podcast about this. You really need to share what you shared with me on a podcast." Do you ever do that? And I said, "Sometimes, but usually the rants and the things that come out in some of my coaching calls can't be duplicated, can't be replicated because I just witness them as they're coming through." I know that sounds a little crazy and a little woo-woo, but sometimes, in the moment, inspiration happens, and it's useful in that moment. And whether it's useful on a podcast or recreated intentionally, it doesn't have the same magic. So, this is my attempt to bring what we talked about to you. So, if you're listening to this, it is going to be after the November 3rd election. So, we will already either know who our new president is, or we're going to be in the middle of a legal mess. There's going to be a lot of uncertainty. There's going to be a lot of craziness. So I think this might be a useful conversation, no matter what the results of the election were. So let's dive in. So the question that he put forth to me was, the people in his organization are shooting for the stars. The people in his organization are really dreamers, and they've already had substantial success, and now they're looking at exponential success. Reach for the stars kind of thing. And my client, who is uber talented, like brilliantly talented, I'm always in awe of him and what he's able to create. Was saying, how do you believe in these shooting for the stars kind of goals? How do you deal with the gremlins? And in the conversation before that, we were talking about, the head talk, the naysayers. And what one of the things I tell a lot of my clients is, when you're working with me, or and but it's not even just when they work with me. Usually, people who come to me are the kind of people who are over their skis anyway, who live at the edge of the diving board. But when you're living at your edge, when you're stretching yourself, when you're doing things, creating things, when you're doing things that aren't in the box, your head is always going to jump in. Your mind, when I'm doing a podcast, when I'm coaching, when I'm writing a book, when I'm creating anything, my head is always saying, "Who are you to do this? You're such, there's no reason for you." My head is always chattering. So he says, "How do you deal with this?" And I said, "Well, I spend an hour and a half every day on the floor in my office reading, contemplating, journaling, uh, meditating every day, hour and a half. I don't do the same thing every day, but hour and a half every single day." "Mark, how are you Yoda during the day? How are you so centered and grounded in what you do?" "Oh, because I'm not. I spend every single day on the floor in my office an hour and a half getting myself right, getting myself connected to a source that isn't my head." So we started talking about the story of the white wolf and uh, the dark wolf. We're gonna call him the good wolf, the bad wolf, the old Indian uh, tale of we have one wolf in us that is basically our darker natures, our criticisms, our selfishness, our egotism, and then we have the good, the benevolent wolf. And I hate the black and the white, but the white wolf is the benevolent us, the better of us, the one that's connected to other people, the one that's loving. And when the little kid is asking the dad, the chief, which wolf wins, is it's the wolf that you feed, right? So do you feed the negative wolf? Do you feed the positive wolf? So he says, "So how, Mark? How do I believe in this vision that they have?" And I gave him a few minutes to stew to figure out for himself. And finally, I said, "Look, you decide. You decide to believe, because your brain isn't going to help you. Your brain is going to be pragmatic. Your brain is going to have the checklist of things that aren't going to work. So you decide." And then he says, "How do you decide?" And that's when I went into my rant about the dark wolf and the white wolf, the light wolf. Is every day I get on my floor because the dark wolf wants to kill me. I'm a lucky guy. I'm an addict. I'm so lucky because I know my dark wolf wants me to go to Las Vegas and die in a pool of my own blood and sweat, having had a couple of nights of debauchery. And I just know that that's what my dark wolf wants. It has always wanted it. The fact that that I've been successful, that I've raised a family, that I have some semblance of a good relationship and coaching, successful coaching practice, is because I have maniacally fed the light wolf. an hour and a half every morning. I surround myself with people who feed my light wolf. I surround myself. I am always around people who think bigger, who think more creatively, who believe in me and believe in what I can accomplish. I read books, I watch videos, I do everything I can to feed that good wolf. I spend all my time in my coaching practice. I get more out of my coaching sessions than my clients do because the good wolf is being fed. That's how you do it. You maniacally figure out what foods am I going to eat that are going to feed the good wolf. If I'm going to eat sugar and grains every single day, I'm not going to feel good. It's going to affect my mood. It's going to affect the wolves. Your gut biome. Like we know so much about probiotics and our gut health, how that affects our moods, how we see the world, how we perceive things. So take a probiotic. That's feeding the gold wolf. So what we eat, what we consume. When I open Twitter and I doom scroll, I know which wolf I'm feeding. And I do. I open Twitter and I doom scroll. I know which wolf I'm feeding. So it's after the election now. We may have a very clear winner of who's the president, and you may not like who the president is, or we may be in all kinds of strife and struggle and uncomfortableness, and it doesn't really matter. The other thing I said to him, because he said he was worried about what's going to happen over the next few months, is I know I can deal with the present moment. I can always, always, always deal with what's happening in the present moment. I can't fix anything in the future. I can't deal with anything in the future. For me, my trust in my ability to handle anything that's coming is my wealth, that's my gold. I can't handle it in the future because it hasn't happened, but I can handle what's happening right around me right now. So whatever is happening after this election, I know I'll be handling. And I'm going to spend my time again before the election, after the election. If who I wanted to win wins, and who I didn't want to win wins, I'm going to feed my own white wolf because it's my life, it's my well-being, it's my sanity, and it's my commitment to create what I want to in the world, no matter what the outside circumstances are. So, to recap this conversation, is how do you believe all the good and the positive and the creative and the outrageous and the fun and playing big in the world is you choose. And how do you choose? You feed the right wolf. So that's hope this is helpful. No matter what's going on in the world right now, you can sit down, you can call a friend who you know has some wisdom. You can pick up a book, you can listen to a podcast. If you're listening to this podcast, then you've decided you're going to listen to a podcast that feeds your soul. You can meditate, you can draw, you can make art, you can go out and help someone, you can feed the light wolf, and you can live the life the way that you want to live. Hope this is helpful. I love you so much. I do this. God, I got a catch in my throat. I love you so much. The reason I do what I do and turn on this mic when I'm such an introvert and want to be by myself is if some of my insights that I have from my life and the people that I work with are useful to you, then it's worth doing every time. So have a great rest of the day. Feed the right wolf.